Hi guys, welcome to Shifting Gears and welcome inside the 2022 Citroen C3. ये Citroen कंपनी की नई मास मार्केट गाड़ी है. This is going to rival the likes of the Tata Punch. You can call it a B segment hatchback, you can call it a crossover, or you can call it a micro SUV, whatever you would like to, term it as. इस वीडियो में हम फोकस करने वाले हैं on the driving bits. The variant which I have with me right now is the 1.2 liter naturally aspirated petrol motor with a 5-speed manual gearbox. हम इस गाड़ी का टर्बो पेट्रोल वेरिएंट भी चला चुके हैं and for that we have a separate drive review video and we also have separate videos for the exterior design and also for the interior cabin of this Citroen C3. ये जो गाड़ी है, bookings are going to start from next month. Deliveries are going to start from next month and the pricing will also be announced next month in July 2022. So if you have been waiting for this Citroen C3, now is the time that you subscribe first to the Shifting Gears channel so that you get to know everything about this vehicle, and then you can go to your nearest Citroen showroom or just experience this vehicle online, because Phygital is the brand's theme when they want to sell cars here in the Indian market. अभी चलिए सबसे पहले इंजन स्पेसिफिकेशंस की बात कर लेते हैं. ये जो Citroen C3 है, इसके साथ आपको 2 पेट्रोल इंजन ऑप्शंस मिलने वाले हैं, बट you are not getting a diesel engine option with this vehicle, and I think that makes sense because very few mass market B segment cars now have a diesel engine option. So let's talk about the numbers now. So अभी जो वेरिएंट मैं चला रहा हूँ, this Citroen C3 with the PureTech 82 powertrain. This is a 1.2 liter 3-cylinder naturally aspirated petrol motor producing 82 PS of power at 5750 RPM and 115 Newton meters of torque at 3750 RPM. कंपनी का क्लेम है that this engine will deliver 19.8 kmpl of mileage and this motor comes matched only to a 5-speed manual gearbox option. Citroen C3 के साथ आपको किसी भी प्रकार का ऑटोमेटिक ट्रांसमिशन ऑप्शन नहीं मिलता है. You don't get any kind of a 2-pedal drive with the Citroen C3. You get a 30 liter fuel tank capacity, so multiply that with 19.8. You know the driving range that you can expect from this budget vehicle from Citroen here for the Indian market. Now the variant which I have today is the Citroen C3 PureTech 82 Feel Trim. This weighs 964 kgs, that is the curb weight number. And that number is not too heavy, not too light. I think it is reasonable for this particular segment. अभी चलिए बात करते हैं in step by step fashion. Let me pull over to the shoulder and then you try to listen to the engine sound heard inside the cabin when I rev it. So here goes. Not too bad, not too coarse. ये एक 3-सिलेंडर मोटर है, तो जब आप स्टीयरिंग व्हील टच करते हो आपको वो 3-सिलेंडर वाइब्रेशन थोड़ा बहुत फील होता है. ये जो गियर स्टिक है, इस पे भी आपको वो माइल्ड पल्सेशन फील ज़रूर होगा, बट there is no shake dance on the inside. The rear view mirror, the gear stick, the steering wheel and even the wing mirrors, nothing is moving, nothing is vibrating. So in the NVH department, I think Citroen has done a decent job. But of course, जब आप इस गाड़ी को धीमे पेस पे चला लेते हो, you will notice the 3-cylinder nature. You will notice that it is hesitant at times. So that is something that you will have to live with when you are planning to bring this car home. When I start driving it, when I drive it over a rumbler patch, listen to the sound heard inside. इतना आवाज आपको कैबिन में सुनाई देगा. And when I rev the motor, listen to this. इतना इंजन का आवाज आपको कैबिन में सुनाई देगा. And this is the rumbler sound which creeps inside the cabin of any other car in this particular segment. These rumblers are really annoying, but they are very important for safety. Now, when I am behind the wheel, it is a very easy car to understand. मेरी हाइट है 5 feet 8 inches. मैं बैठा हूँ at the lowest seat height. but I can gauge all four corners of this vehicle very easily. Bonnet shut line मुझे काफ़ी अच्छी तरह से नज़र आ रही है. It has a very SUV like slightly flattish bonnet, and because of that it gives you that SUV kind of a design appearance, and many would like it because it looks distinct and it looks bold from the outside, but even on the inside it gives you a nice commanding driving position. And I was instantly at home जब मैं ये गाड़ी चलाने के लिए बैठ चुका था today morning. Today is day 1 for me with this Citroen C3, but in terms of making me comfortable as a driver, from the driver's point of view, absolutely spot on. And ergonomics के डिपार्टमेंट में भी मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम्स फील नहीं हुए. There are no typical French quirks inside the cabin of this Citroen C3, except for the fact that the fog lamp is a separate button and it stays on if you don't switch it off manually, because सिर्फ headlamp बंद करने से fog lamp deactivate नहीं हो रहा था. That is something that I noticed. So now that I have pulled over to the shoulder, I am going to sprint. So just listen to the engine. इतना कैबिन में आपको आवाज सुनाई देगा. It is not thrashy, it is not tinny, and I really like it. Comparing it with other 1.2 liter 3-cylinder motors, I think this sounds decent, and it is absolutely not something that is going to ruin your driving experience. Let me do that one more time. Pulling over to the shoulder, coming to a standstill, slotting it in first gear, and some wheel spin. Keep listening to the engine. Not bad, isn't it? And it should keep you happy throughout your ownership cycle. Now when you want to drive this car fast, सबसे पहले तो इस गाड़ी में आपको कोई tachometer नहीं मिलता है. No digital tachometer, or just no kind of RPM indication. You will have to understand the rev range based on what you hear inside the cabin. And of course you have a gear shift indicator in that digital display, in the digital speedometer cluster. So it is going to prompt you to upshift or downshift so that you stay in the ideal rev range. And that gear shift indicator is going to help you understand the gearing of this vehicle and the power band of this Citroen C3, so that you can make the best use of this inside the city, out on the highway, and also get the best of mileage. माइलेज की अगर बात करूं तो आज हम इस गाड़ी को गोवा में चला रहे हैं, and we were driving it fast for quite some time, and right now I'm taking it easy a little because it has started to rain. It is one of those first showers, so the road conditions are not ideal. The mileage figure that I have seen is 14 to 15 kmpl combined. So अगर आप इस गाड़ी को long drives के लिए इस्तेमाल करोगे, I think 18-19 kmpl is going to be easy if you are gentle with your throttle and you drive it reasonably. If you drive it really fast and if you are stuck in bumper to bumper traffic, I think 10 to 12 kmpl is still going to be an easy number for this car to achieve. So when you consider all of that, this number of 14-15 kmpl is respectable for a car of this size, because size is very important, and this car does deliver on the space and especially on the comfort aspect on the inside. So do check out our interior review video as well. Now the steering wheel, छोटा steering wheel है if you compare it to the size of other cars in this particular segment, but it fits in your hand quite well. Leather wrap नहीं है, soft touch material ज़रूर है, but it doesn't feel too premium. Steering wheel पे आपको जो controls मिल रहे हैं, they are only for your infotainment, but it is an effortless steering wheel to operate. EPS unit है और आपको गाड़ी steer करते समय ज़्यादा मेहनत नहीं करनी होगी. So check this out. When you come to a standstill and when you want to make lock to lock turns, आपको ज़्यादा मेहनत नहीं करनी होगी. It is not the lightest wheel in the segment. Some Maruti cars feel much lighter from behind the wheel, but this is still effortless and you can live with this very, very easily. The next point to talk about is this short gear stick. Gear throws जो हैं वो medium throw हैं, गियर स्टिक जो है शॉर्ट है, बट द गियर कंसोल इज पोजिशन्ड हायर, सो इट फील्स ईजी टू ऑपरेट एंड प्ले अराउंड विद द गियर बॉक्स. आपको कोई ड्राइवर आर्मरेस्ट इस गाड़ी के साथ नहीं मिलता है, बट द गियर गेट्स आर वेरी वेल डिफाइंड and it doesn't sound notchy and it doesn't feel too notchy. So in terms of living with this vehicle, it is going to be very easy, and the steering wheel and the gear lever, they will not demand too much of an effort. अभी फुटवेल एरिया की अगर बात करें तो क्लच पेडल के लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पे आपको कोई डेड पेडल नहीं मिल रहा है, बट यू डू हैव सम स्पेस टू मूव योर फुट from the left hand side of the clutch lever to rest it on the floor when you are out on the highway. आपको pedal placement जो है वो काफ़ी अच्छी मिल रही है and it doesn't feel too cramped. The only thing is that I found the accelerator pedal to be a little hard, to be a little heavy, so you have to put some amount of effort to press it. So that is a finer detail that I want to share with you. But as you can notice, I am making effortless U-turns and I can very easily gauge all four corners of this vehicle. So this can easily be your first car and you will not find it difficult to understand this vehicle, and it won't be difficult to drive it on a day-to-day basis. Now so far I have told you that the NVH package is acceptable for this particular segment. The steering wheel feels light, the gear gates are well defined, and this gear stick is good to use as well. Medium throw gears are also quite fun, and this engine is reasonably responsive. When you want to know more about the engine, let me tell you that इस गाड़ी के साथ आपको कोई ड्राइव मोड्स नहीं मिल रहे हैं. There is no city, eco or sport mode. If you want sporty performance, if you want punchy performance, आप इस गाड़ी का टर्बो पेट्रोल वेरिएंट खरीद सकते हो. This is the more vanilla engine and gearbox combination which Citroen is offering to you. इस गाड़ी के साथ आपको एक 5 स्पीड का गियर बॉक्स मिल रहा है, 5 स्पीड का मैनुअल गियर बॉक्स मिल रहा है. There is no AMT, there is no CVT, there is no torque converter or DCT. Now when I come to a standstill, this time I'm going to drive it a little fast. Keep listening to the engine. First gear touches 54 kilometers per hour. Second gear, it does 98 kilometers per hour, and in third gear you are well over 100 and you can cross 120 kilometers per hour. So there is decent punch from this Citroen C3 and it is acceptable in terms of the performance that you are getting from this B segment. आप इस गाड़ी को hatchback कहिए, SUV कहिए, crossover कहिए, whatever you would like. This is supposed to be a family car. This is supposed to be an easy car. And it is easy, and the power delivery is linear as well, and काफ़ी progressively ये गाड़ी जो है speed build up कर देती है. So you will have no problems in that department. Now the main intention for the brand while developing this car was to make it comfortable for the family car buyer, and it shows. The suspension tuning is quite mature and it does ride quite well, and it does ride in a predictable fashion. सबसे पहले तो अगर आप इस गाड़ी में बैठ जाते हो, all 4 adults will have very good under thigh support. Because of that you sit very comfortably inside the cabin of this Citroen C3, and when you are comfortable on the seat, you start to appreciate the ride quality as well, because you are not struggling by yourself inside the cabin of the vehicle in the first place. The suspension tuning is nice, ride quality फ्लैट है और ज़्यादा वर्टिकल मूवमेंट नहीं है, ज़्यादा वॉफ्टीनेस भी नहीं है. सो इफ़ यू आर गोइंग टू टेक दिस कार आउट फॉर अ लॉन्ग ड्राइव, यू विल हैव नो प्रॉब्लम्स, यू विल हैव नो कंप्लेंट्स, एंड ज़्यादा झटके आपको फील नहीं होंगे. नाउ दिस इज़ अ बजट कार, सो व्हेन यू आर ड्राइविंग ओवर सम रियली बैड रोड्स, आपको कैबिन में थर्ड्स ज़रूर सुनाई देते हैं, बट द सस्पेंशन डज डू अ डिसेंट जॉब in terms of absorbing those bumps and not resulting in a jerk on your back. So that definitely makes this car a good family vehicle for your daily drives. When you are driving around twisty roads, when you are encountering corners, when you are trying to give in some throttle input mid corner, the car stays planted and it is very easy. I won't say that it is the most dynamically rich. स्टीयरिंग व्हील पे से कोई खास फील या फीडबैक आपको नहीं मिलने वाला है. इट इज़ अ टिपिकल EPS यूनिट फॉर द बजट सेगमेंट, बट स्टिल द बॉडी बैलेंस is quite predictable, and because of that you can hustle this car around corners easily. And when you want to make quick U-turns, there is not too much of a pitch and roll that you will feel inside this car. आपको इस चीज पे ध्यान देना है that this is a tall vehicle and still it does stay well balanced and the handling is reasonable. I won't say that it is the best in class. I won't say that this is the best handling B segment vehicle or crossover, but it is doing what it is supposed to, and it is doing it well, and it will not make you nervous either. Check this out. Around corners, no problem at all. Very easily playing around with the gearbox, point and shoot, and manages the line that I want it to. When you are really attacking corners, check this out. When you are really aggressive, it does stay planted, I would say, because I don't have to lift off from the throttle pedal because I'm not feeling too nervous. That is also thanks to the driving feel that I'm getting because of this commanding driving seat position. So I know where the wheels are pointing, I know where I'm heading, and that is giving me extra bit of confidence. Check this out. When you want to know more about the ride quality, जब आप खराब खड्डों पे से इस गाड़ी को चला लेते हो, आपको काफी कम झटके फील होते हैं inside the cabin, and I'm very comfortable. This is a good family car for sure, and if this is Citroen's, best effort for the Indian mass market, I think in terms of the engine, the gearbox, and the ride quality, they have done a fine job. And of course, with time, this car will evolve and their future products will be even more suited to the Indian car buyer. So, good job Citroen, and this C3, not a bad product at all. It should definitely be on your consideration list. And when I'm driving over broken terrain, broken roads, it is not making me feel nervous, and ride quality is really good, guys. Now this engine, this 1.2 liter NA petrol with this 5-speed manual unit, you will have to keep playing around with it to stay in the ideal rev range if you want to drive it fast, and especially if you are approaching an incline, you will have to downshift at times to stay in the meat of the power band. So keep that in mind. There is not too much of torque that is available instantly on tap, especially if you are in the 5th gear. So for overtaking maneuvers, you will have to plan it, and you will have to shift a few gears, and I love shifting gears. Do you? If you are planning to buy this car, you will have to understand the 3-cylinder nature of this, 1.2 liter petrol motor. Right now, I am on an incline patch inside this Citroen C3, and check this out. If I just release the clutch pedal, it is going to hesitate to move forward, but then when I slip the clutch a little, this is even without throttle input, ये गाड़ी जो है, it will start crawling, but there will be hesitation felt, and you know that 3-cylinder motor doesn't have enough torque lower down in that rev range to push you forward. So keep that in mind. Also, say for example, अगर आप second gear में इस गाड़ी को चला रहे हो, and when you are making lock-to-lock U-turns, when you are driving it slow, and when you are just being cautious, and if you slow down a bit too much, and then if you get on the gas, you will feel that 3-cylinder thrum a little. But Citroen has done a fantastic job of masking it. It doesn't sound hesitant, and there is not too much of a shake dance and vibration inside the cabin when you do so. So for a 3-cylinder motor, I think this is one of the best engines in terms of the NVH package for sure, at least in my books. If you differ with that opinion, do share your thoughts in the comments and let's debate. One more time, very quickly, acceleration and engine NVH test. Listen to this. Not bad. Check this out, a couple of fast-paced lane-changing maneuvers, and this Citroen C3, it does manage a safe line, it does manage a predictable line, and right now the road condition is not ideal. It is a little broken piece of tarmac, and the suspension setup is doing a decent job of keeping me comfortable even though I am driving it at a fast pace. And झटके जो हैं मुझे ज़्यादा मेरे बैक पे फील नहीं हो रहे हैं. And even though some thuds are heard inside the cabin for sure, they are not felt too much. So that will make this Citroen C3 rough road friendly. And you know that we have a lot of such rough roads here on the Indian streets. If I have to nitpick, I can say that at triple digit speeds, it doesn't feel too sure-footed. That is also because of the fact that it is not really a very heavy vehicle. And also, जब आप गाड़ी तेज चला लेते हो, especially over 100 km/h and more, wind noise जो है वो cabin में creep करना शुरू कर देती है. So that might trouble some people who like to drive their cars without music, because at that time all of the ambient noises will feel more amplified. The engine and gearbox, the tuning is more towards the economy side. It is more for the easy driver and not for the fast and furious type. ब्रेकिंग परफॉर्मेंस की अगर बात करें तो ब्रेक पेडल पे जो फील आपको मिलता है decent, and stopping power and braking bite is also quite predictable. So it is not too sharp, so you are not going to feel scared, and you are not going to scare the other road users as well. So that is pretty much it, guys. That is all that I want to share with you about this Citroen C3 with this 1.2 liter naturally aspirated petrol motor coupled to a 5-speed manual gearbox. अगर आपके और कोई सवाल हैं, do ask me and I will try my best to help you out so that you can make an informed car buying decision. Till next time, subscribe to the Shifting Gears channel, press that bell icon, always drive safe, always wear your seat belt, and whenever you get a chance, kick that pedal to the metal and listen to the sound of gasoline or diesel burning engines, because the EV age is creeping up on us very fast, and I don't think I am ready to go silent and have my car turn silent anytime soon. Goodbye.